And we are live. Wednesday night with those guys, and Wednesday night with those guys are sponsored by
those guys.
It'll come, Ash. Don't worry. He was like,
I'm the new kid in the room. What can I say? I tried.
No, don't even worry about it, brother.
Don't worry about it, Ash.
I'll get it next time. Wednesday Night Live is sponsored by those guys.
That's it. Well, my bad. That's my echo. Sorry about that. Go ahead. It's gone. It's gone.
So, everybody, good evening. Good evening. Tonight we have Ash from DroningON with us.
Hey guys, and that is a pleasure to join. I've been loving this,
Ash,
loving this guy for ages. So
we're working on the sound effects. Sorry, we don't have the applause yet, but we're working. We got somebody hooking us up with OBS, the proper way to use it. So,
and I have my regular co-host here.
Morning, feet on the ground.
Novice Quads, Lawrence, and Mr. Paul Murray from the PMS show on Monday nights.
Just got your alert on the computer and on the phone just now. So It's official. We are live.
So yeah, awesome. Everybody was awaiting these new releases from DJI. Everybody was going crazy, but I know it's not what everybody wanted, but we all expected something from the enterprise level, didn't we?
Exactly.
But I see now that they were talking there was an Osmo Pocket, but before we get into all of that, guys, do not forget the DRL, the Drone Racing League simulator. You can download it on Xbox.
Yes.
The championships are coming up next weekend, next Wednesday, the October 21st. That would be at 7 p.m. on NBCSN and Twitter and Facebook Watch. Yes. So don't forget that. And also the New York City Drone Film Festival is coming up on October 24th.
In New York City.
Don't forget to check that out. The tickets are $120.
Yes, it's going to be virtual.
It's all virtual. So
it's going to be virtual this year, yes.
I'm just a bit overwhelmed by the name of that TV channel you just said. Was it NBCLBLCD? What was that? Imagine trying to say that if you're dyslexic. LBNB.
You know how hard it was for me to get it out, just like AUVSI.
Us Brits are simple, right? Our channels are called BBC or ITV. Our channels are so simple in the UK.
Most of ours are easy too. It's just that once you start getting into the internet channels and stuff, they those are the new guys. They're still adding. They gotta use them extra letters.
Yeah, that's true.
Just a few extra letters. Can I just say one thing before we start?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay. Let me go get mine.
This is sorry. I'm really sorry in advance, but it's sponsored by Heineken tonight. I don't really like Heineken, but I grabbed one out of the fridge and it was dark.
Okay.
I just realized.
Ash, you need to make sure you come back here when Lawrence is doing his moonshine night.
Here we go.
Oh, that sounds good.
Here we go.
I didn't realize I picked up a 3.5% one.
Oh, so then you have to drink about 3 of them then to be the equivalent of a 9%.
It's 11 p.m. on a Wednesday night, so I'm glad it's 3.5%.
Yeah, especially if you have to get up in the morning. But cheers, Ash, and we appreciate you for coming on those guys Wednesday nights with those guys.
My pleasure to be here. By the way, I'm in Sweden. I live in Sweden, and in Sweden you say skål.
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 That means cheers.
Skål. Did I say it right? Or did I sound like okay?
Really, your Swedish is better than Ken Heron's. That's not hard, to be fair. Ken, if you're watching, I'm sorry.
Anyway, for you guys that are here early, and we usually BS around for a while, but Ash can only be here for a certain amount of time. So we're going to get into the drone news and see where it carries on after all of that. And Tom will be in a little later.
And here comes Tom now. But Ash, you were saying that, or I saw your video this morning, and you had that. There was an Osmo Pocket 2 coming out.
Yes.
And
So,
yeah.
Do you want to talk about that now, or?
Well,
yeah, you might as well.
Pocket, yeah. Why not?
Yeah. So basically, the Osmo Pocket 2 has been rumored for a long time. Lots of theories that it might be coming out. because we all love the original Osmo Pocket, but it needed some more.
Mhm.
And so on the FCC database, it looks like there's an FCC entry now for the Osmo Pocket, which is quite exciting. But we don't. It actually says Pocket 2 on there, but
Right.
we don't. It's not definitive, but it looks very likely. The fact that the product label says Pocket 2, and it's filed under an Osmo company wing of DJI.
Right.
So very exciting.
Yeah,
Well-
I'm interested in seeing a new one come out too. I wish it could be just a little bigger.
Yeah, if you got big bear paws, it's tough to operate that.
It
Bear
is.
paws, and plus that little tiny postage stamp screen. It's getting
Yep.
harder and harder to see.
Yeah,
I-
that's the biggest problem.
I just see little things moving around on it. That's it. But
I could barely see it with my glasses on, but if I had these, I could probably pull it off.
What on earth are they?
Oh,
Is that a
oh,
VR headset? or-
when I do work on my
He doubles as a proctologist. Don't let him kill you.
Oh hell no, we don't play that way. No, when
Wow.
I'm doing work on my FPV birds, I'm 56 years old, so the eyes aren't as keen as yours. So
Right.
this gives me an extra pair of eyes with the LED light
Oh wow.
to highlight everything. So it'll bring something the size of a pinhead to about this big.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I've never
You know,
ever seen
so-
an invention like that before. That's cool.
But what's
Yeah,
up,
they got
Tom?
those kind of things all over the place.
But do you really think that they're going to go through with this Osmo 2? I mean,
Absolutely.
according to all the evidence, Ash, or
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely. Absolutely.
the Osmo Pocket was one of the, I would say, one of the best-selling products for DJI since the original Mavic Pro back in 2016. The Osmo Pocket, every video I've put out for the Pocket gets tens of thousands of views, if not hundreds of thousands. It's a really, really popular product, and everyone's wanted a sequel ever since because it just had a few gaps, like the lack of speaker. The fact that when you record something and play it back on the Osmo Pocket, you can't hear it because it's got no inbuilt
Right.
speaker.
no
It's got no
air
tripod mount.
no air vents to cool off either.
It gets very hot, yeah. When you
It
keep
does get
recording.
hot in your hand. Yes,
yeah,
it
the
does.
4K
Yeah.
60, yeah. When
I
you're
don't
4K
personally
30.
own one, but I got to use one during a car show. We were shooting the car show, and we were vlogging the car show and doing a couple of flyovers from different angles. And my friend that let me hold his, it gets really hot.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Incredibly hot for a piece of electronic.
Well, look
Yeah,
how
but you
cool it is.
say for a car show, it's great for getting down into the engine bay,
Yes,
to highlight little things, or even handing it, in flashlight mode to a little kid to run around with.
Well, that's what I was doing with it, Tom. I was actually starting
Yeah.
at the lower bumper and going along the side of the car, showing the wheel, then pulling back. It was great
Yeah.
for all that. But I
Amazing.
felt like a giant holding a kitten in his palm
Yeah,
or something.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah, and
I mean, I was that way when I first got it, and I got used to it. I learned how to use it. But as
Fingertips.
far as the
Daryl Hickman.
screen itself, using it as for the the interface on the screen, one of the hardest things still to this day.
No, you really have to use it out of the app. And
Right.
actually, a few things like I try to buy a mount to hold it to the phone, and of course, with the phone case on my 11 Max Pro, it doesn't. It was a nightmare. When I finally realized my phone was much heavier than the Pocket itself, and I just started
Yeah.
holding the phone instead.
The thing is,
I
it's-
was less
you have to
likely to have
remember-
it topple off.
it's
Yeah.
not a product designed really to be used with the phone. It's a product to be designed for filming on its own. The idea of the phone connectivity is so that you can review the footage you've captured, or you can do some active track. But really, it's designed to be a device in its own right.
Well,
I never liked the phone connectivity. It's always felt a bit flimsy, and
the connection,
I never
But-
liked
but
the
Ash-
idea of it either. The
Ash,
thing
keep
is,
something in mind. Excuse me, Herman, 1 second. You brought down the average age in this room significantly, okay? So, I'm just
Sorry.
saying, man, that, the controls are tough to handle at that size.
yeah, I can agree
Okay.
with that. Yeah,
Big
especially on
young
the screen.
whippersnapper,
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hey
sorry.
there, Bill.
Hey, I'm 40.
Hey,
I'm
Bill.
halfway to 80 now. I'm old, actually.
Dude, I don't even want
Stop
to tell
it.
you're still probably half the average in the
Tom,
room,
he
okay?
doesn't get
Just saying.
Ash. You don't get up
Yeah.
at 3, 4 in the middle of the night to go piss.
Oh, the bathroom 2 or 3 times at night.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Depends
Your
how many of these I
bladder,
drink.
in other words, your
Well, yeah,
bladder is
that's the equalizer.
your
Yes,
bladder
it
is still in contact. And it's
Yeah,
still
yeah.
has some muscle tone to it.
That's a whole different topic, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Like a
And
balloon, you
and the
fill it
wrong
up, you gotta
show.
let it
The
out.
wrong show, yeah.
But no, I
yeah,
think the Osmo Pocket.
those habits.
Well, Tom,
Well, the
Tom,
Osmo
it's,
Pocket
Tom,
is
it's
so
actually the right
successful.
show because Lawrence had his proctology thing on up there, and he was
Oh, stop.
Oh,
showing
that's
how to
very
do
true.
that. Yep.
That's
Cut it
very
out.
true.
You know,
The
as far
Osmo
as-
Pocket was a very successful. I agree with Dash, and there's no reason whatsoever
not to make it
not to
simple.
version that and come out with the next generation.
Well,
Yeah.
what I'm saying, as far as the phone connectivity, and I've used it with the phone, and you ask Lawrence, we've done a few different things, and I've put this thing through some real world challenges as far as filming. And honestly, I have this little tripod, and I have the phone connected, and we've sat it right on there because you can see what's going on in the screen, and you know everything's happened, and everything kind of, to me, honestly, we're working with that, and the holder is easier than filming something with just holding this.
Yeah.
Well, I like it on a little tripod, like you said, using the Wi-Fi connector, right?
Yeah.
And then using the phone and doing a time lapse with it. You know,
Right.
that's how I've enjoyed using it the most.
I don't know if you guys can see the web browser screen there, but I love the slow motion on it. And this was one of the videos. I don't know if you can see it very clearly on the little screen, but the slow motion was really good. And then I took it to a tennis tournament. This is one to watch. And the slow motion capabilities of it were really, really good. 1080p at 120 frames per second. I think if there's an Osmo Pocket 2, there is a rumor that it would have the Mavic Air 2's camera, so a 1/2-inch sensor.
Wow.
And that means we get more bit rate, and it means we also might get much better slow motion footage as well. So I've done a load of videos on the Osmo Pocket, and even now I still love it. I took it skiing to 3,000 meters, and it had no issues at all. You think some cameras with,
Yeah.
What
you
about
follow
in
the
the
batteries.
cold? In the cold. How does
Yeah,
it
I mean,
act
it
in the
was
cold?
very,
Good?
very cold. It was freezing up there. 3,000 meters, the highest point you can get in Austria.
Wow.
I don't know if can you see it very clearly on there. If I
Yeah, we can see. We can
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
fine.
oh, there you
Actually,
go.
Herman can pin the picture, but we can.
Well,
I'm looking on the screen. Well, see, then I have a
Share it.
25-inch and a 39-inch, so everything looks good.
This was all filmed with the Osmo Pocket without a phone attached, just Osmo Pocket by
Just
hand.
using the Pocket, right?
Yeah,
I
no
film
phone
most of my
attached to
stuff
it.
that way.
After a day using it, Ash, I must admit, when we did the car show,
Yeah,
we did one car show, and I was like, "When's the next one? When's the next one?" Because I could get angles that I could not get standing up. I
yeah,
could
exactly.
lean over and walk, and I like shooting cars from the grill and zooming out and exposing, revealing the car or showing from a fender along the side of the car.
Yeah.
It was really fun to use, I must admit.
It's
So
addictive.
for them to come out with an Osmo Pocket 2, it might be worth the investment.
Well, I'm waiting to see what happens.
But then
because,
I have
Yeah.
this.
I
which
use it for
4K
every
at 30 and
single
4K
video.
at
That's the thing. Phones, I
Go ahead.
for my I've got a little channel, DroningON Live, which is where I just do raw content straight from the phone. I shoot it with my Samsung S10. I upload it from the phone. I don't edit any of it. It's straight filmed and straight uploaded straight to YouTube. I should really be using the Osmo Pocket for it, but to be honest, the Pocket doesn't get a lot of use by me now, so I'm not sure. One thing I would really, really love the Pocket to have is webcam capability, because imagine if you guys now could plug it into your laptop via USB-C, you could use the face tracking on it, and you'd have the best quality webcam possible with focus.
That would be a great blogging tip for something.
That expands the market.
Yeah, it does. And
definitely expands the market.
They haven't done it yet, and I bet it's a simple software update that DJI can do. I'd love that.
Well, yeah, you talk about your phone and the new iPhone 12 Pro Max and the camera capabilities, and it's starting. You know, the old saying, the best camera is the one you have with you, and it actually is one of the best cameras out there.
Hey, Paul,
you know, so
that's your comment.
I guess the only difference would be in the hyperlapse and the time lapse, because and motion lapse. I loved I did a whole video on motion lapse with the Osmo Pocket, and the fact that you move it around and it automatically does it over an hour.
Yes.
And the results are just brilliant. I was so impressed with the results from that.
I remember buying add-ons for my Nikon DSLRs to accomplish this with, and some of them could be as expensive as the camera itself. The dolly systems, right? The tracking systems. So it's really amazing what the miniaturization and what they're able to pull off in such a small form factor. And I actually think that invites more people to be attracted to it because it's an easy carry. Also,
I'm sorry, but I was trying to answer Bill, Coast to Coast Drones. He was saying, "Will Pocket accessories work with Pocket 2?" Well,
I think,
to be honest, I would kind of doubt it, because if it's new tech, you got to have new accessories.
And plus, they build an ecosystem around it, right?
I mean, Coast to Coast, do you want old sneakers with new sneaker laces?
Well, if the old sneaker laces would last you a few dollars to spend, okay, you got to realize something here. There's no interest in it for them to maintain that accessory, that backward compatibility to the accessories,
right?
And also,
because accessories are another eco market around the product,
right?
So
some of the accessories shaped around the Osmo Pocket. The Osmo Pocket will probably have a different form factor, so they probably won't.
I bet you it'll be a much rounder feel. Yeah,
that almost never happens. Where you would have the next generation. The accessories, man. A lot of people make a lot of money off of these accessories, and especially when you have a company like DJI and Samsung and Apple, they know that these products are going to sell. So the people who do the aftermarket, they jump and run to make these products. They know they're going to move them. Whereas that with some other phones or some other products that don't move as well, they don't rush to make the aftermarket stuff for those things, because they don't know how
there isn't a market for it. Yeah.
Think about filters.
This is a consumer product.
Think about how many filters we've all got sat on our shelves up there for every drone we've ever owned. Whereas in fact, if you just had one standard filter connectivity like you do for SLR cameras, it would save us all a load of money. But companies like Freewell and DJI wouldn't make as much money as they do from us.
Except Ash, how many 67, 72, 77s, 82s, I own in the DSLR market too. So
that's true.
That's the tough part, right? And if you owned Nikon glass and that Nikon glass for the Canon, what would be the reason to stick with the Nikon?
Yeah,
you'd be chasing feature sets constantly. But they realized that the camera manufacturers realized right away that they had to build this community. And once you invested in any amount of glass, you were really moving on to a different system.
This is one reason why, I don't know if you can pin this video.
Pin that, Herman?
You can share the video.
Can I?
Yeah, you can share the screen.
Yeah, you can share the screen.
It's easier. It's easier. I've just put it on my camera instead. It's just as easy.
Because if you look right down on the bottom of the
green share screen,
the green share thing, you can share that screen if you wanted to.
Yeah,
that's all right. I've got it on a video. But this is what you can't do with a phone. The time lapse. You can do a static time lapse, but look at the ones like
the motion lapse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I've done one. These are all with the Osmo Pocket. These time lapses, and it's just I do love that feature of it, and it lasts a nice long time. And you don't. The downside of doing this with your mobile phone as well, of course, is whilst you're doing it, you can't use your phone. So it is quite nice.
And of course, that call from your aunt is really going to screw up that motion.
Not true.
It's the wife I'm worried about.
Ash, I can correct you on that. That's not true. I can actually be watching YouTube and answer a phone, and it'll mute the YouTube while I'm on the phone.
No, I mean you can't capture a time lapse.
Hell no. Now you're wishing for a whole lot, Ash.
That'd be impressive. But we will see. We don't know yet. It looks highly likely. The FCC entries say Pocket 2 do it all handle. It's
You know what?
called.
I missed the first one, and I can honestly say you can unpin Herman, because right, or go back to gallery view, because right now whoever speaks is on cam. There you go.
Is it good?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay.
To be honest, Ash, I welcome the Pocket 2.
Yeah, many people will.
Because
It'll be
I
another great
missed,
seller.
I missed the first one, and if you're quick to jump on the first one, usually the second one's a little bit better. So
Well,
let's
a
hope
lot of
it has
times
air
that
vents
happens
and a larger sensor.
because they're able
Yeah.
to knock the kinks out of it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And who's better than testing devices on their customers? DJI.
Well, everybody does that, especially the guys that like the video games.
It's the size of the fanboy club. I mean, come on.
You get tested the most.
True.
I got
But,
a whole $1.33 sitting there in DJI credit, burning a hole in my pocket.
And that expires, I believe, as well, doesn't it? That
Yes,
credit.
Of course it does.
Yes.
Of course it does. And so do your coupons.
Yeah.
And it's only your birthday for 30, I think 29 days. Okay, so there goes that coupon. It's pretty funny, but we're still up there buying their product. No problem there.
Oh yeah.
Listen, it's okay. It's all right. I don't mind standing in line like the mummy going Imhotep, waiting to go get something from DJI. I don't, but I did miss the Pocket, and I was like, I don't know, maybe I was in another universe or something. Everyone's like, get one. Oh, this is bad. You see the camera look at you, then you can turn it around. And then I saw Herman using his, and I was like, okay, that's not a bad device. Yeah. And to be honest, I don't know what happened. I fell asleep on that one. And Ash, have you seen the clones?
Oh yeah, they all got sued. DJI launched a lawsuit. There were five clones, and DJI launched a lawsuit against them all, and that's why they've disappeared.
That's why they stopped selling them on Amazon, because on Amazon you could get the Hachitachi 2000, and it looks like the Osmo Pocket.
I mean, I'm all up for competition, but innovate. Don't just copy it button for button. Yeah. I mean, some of them were better. Some of them had a speaker.
Yeah. One showed up in a YouTube ad shortly after the reviews started to come out. Okay.
Yeah.
And it was a knockoff. I mean, directly.
Yeah, but some of them innovated and filled the gaps that DJI had missed, like having a speaker. So there were advantages in the others. They had tripod points, but that's why DJI sued them all, because in 2019 they were working on the Osmo Pocket 2, in theory, according to this FCC entry. It was tested in September 2019, according to this entry.
Which makes you wonder how far advanced they are over our common mortal minds. Because
I believe that all companies do that.
Yeah, well, it's true, but my point is, everyone's going Phantom 5, Mavic 3. They're already talking Phantom 12, Mavic 12.
Well, any good tech company is going to have a roadmap, right?
Exactly. You
have to have a roadmap. Yeah. And you have to have a roadmap to convince the board to give you some more money to go down that particular road, right?
Exactly.
So, this is business, and DJI's gotten very, very good at it.
Oh, yes.
I mean, to even look at how they built their quarters, right? Where they separated the engineering side from the business side. Mm-hmm. And they realized that you can't exert too much business on the engineering side without stifling that innovation. Okay? Yeah. But you still got to be able to produce a product. And DJI's pulled that off.
Interestingly, ABQ Quadcopter says, I'd take the Osmo Action over the Pocket any day, but they are two completely different cameras.
Different. And I own both.
I have both. And the reason I've got both is one of them I will strap to the wing on the wall over there. The other I definitely won't. The one I'll take skiing with me. The other I, definitely won't.
What's good? Sorry.
Eddie, what's up, man?
Ash, I forgot to tell you. Every now and then we have to read a disclaimer, because this way it covers Herman and his live stream and what others may say and may not say. So I'm going to get it out of the way in case something slips out really quick.
Basically,
the views and opinions that are heard tonight are not necessarily the views and opinions of everyone on the panel and or in the chat. Okay, Eddie Nunez, what's good? So, and another thing you have to get used to.
So that means when I call you an A, oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't count.
Well, see, it's said already. But Ash,
Oh,
you have to get used to being on those guys and talking and having someone in the background yelling, "Hey, what's up, Eddie Nunez? What's up, son?" It's just how we are. We have no
That's
rules.
fine.
Yeah.
We have rules, but no rules.
But when we talked about this Pocket release, and it's I'm waiting for it. Everybody else is waiting for it. But when they had put out that thing from the Enterprise and they showed that little picture and they had the whole thing there and everybody was going crazy, we were all speculating on what it could be. And it's funny because Tom had said LiDAR. I said, I believe it's a camera. I guess we were both right, Tom.
Well,
So-
look at this. It's how big of a stretch is it, Herman? I mean, I say, okay, I was spot on with that prediction. Wait a second. It was a commercial event,
Right.
that's centered around geospace mapping.
Yeah.
Okay, so LiDAR was the perfect choice there, and the capability of that camera is pretty significant. In the public safety realm, but definitely in the commercial realm. The resolution capability, I think it's 450 meters. So,
yeah, something to that effect. Yeah, 450 meters.
Almost 1,500 feet. So within 1,500 feet,
reflectivity.
Yeah, think about it now. You can get precision, centimeter precision distancing from almost 1,500 feet away.
Mhm.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Well,
And if you think, I think of public safety. So right away, I'm thinking, okay, search and rescue. You get your topography. You can see you both have visual. You have your LiDAR capability. You can actually get that penetration you need as well into a canopy. So there's a lot of advantages there. A lot of advantages. And from maintenance and support, inspection activities, things like that, amazing. Mapping, well, now with centimeter resolution, you're talking about true 3D rendering,
right,
in short order.
Hey Ash,
because they have what is a LiveVox LiDAR module or the
put in
20
the chat,
megapixel
message for
20 megapixel survey RGB camera on this thing here.
Yeah, so
so
the
it's
L1
visual
and the
light.
P1.
Accurate IMU.
You've got the L1 and the P1. So the L1 is the main
all
focus is
L1.
LiDAR. The P1
Hold on
is
to
a
the
45 megapixel
right there.
camera as well.
Yes. This one is has a 20 megapixel camera on this one, doesn't it? The L1.
Yeah, the significance between the two of them are basically
Hey,
is really a mapping wonder,
hold on,
and the
can I
other one
interrupt
is
really?
used for measurements.
Can I interrupt really quick? Because I find this so amusing. Paul, just scroll down a little, but I'm looking on the side here. You can take a loan out to get this camera.
You probably need one to sell your house as well.
Well,
you could put your house up to get this camera, man.
I don't know what the current price tag on it is, but I would imagine it rivals the cost of the Matrice 300. Okay.
I would imagine you're looking, I mean, if you look at the rest of the Zen Muse range, it's going to be in line with that lot.
Price and availability.
Because they have a FLIR capability camera as well. It's probably going to be around the same price point.
Exactly. We have the XT2. That's an amazing camera. The X30, amazing cameras, and extremely expensive. I mean, if you look, FLIR has some payload packages out there that are about $110,000 to $140,000 US. So, when you're talking about, when you talk about a Matrice, right, a 210 RTK, you're in the ballpark. I mean, depending on how you accessorize it, you're in the $12,000 to $18,000 range. When we start talking about an XT2 camera, that's a $12,000 package right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can see these photogrammetry cameras being up there in price tag. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
It's certainly not the Mavic owners buying it, so they
Well,
don't need to
not
worry
your
about it being
consumer.
expensive.
No. You got to have some muscle. You know, the
Oh,
power
yeah.
companies,
Oh no, we gotta
the
get
infrastructure
You saying?
companies.
No, I was saying we got to get. Ash said he can only give us like 30 minutes, so I had.
No, that's
him
fine.
mess-
I got another 10 minutes. Absolutely
Okay,
fine.
you still have some beer?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Until I finish my beer, I'm staying here.
So yeah, with that camera, what I was looking at, that's a really impressive video that they had on that, you know, everything that had going on with that. The thing that I like with that is that now I finally saw where DJI was going with that software for that was it the mapping software that they had for the Terra, the
DJI Terra. Yeah.
because it works along with this, and you can on the interface on the screen touch and draw lines and pinpoints.
Sure. Yeah.
This is crazy.
Amazing, isn't it?
Well, realize, I mean, you know, we on the consumer side of the fence, we used to fly. You know, there's a whole different aspect of this with pilot, and then there are other third-party solutions that are available that we use in public safety a lot that are layers upon that. So we're not even always using the interfaces. There are flight management tools that are complete suites out there. So they're not tied into the interface, so to speak. And if I'm going to use that LiDAR camera, I'm not using it with DJI suite of tools at this point.
And I'll tell you what, just for anyone out there that wants to have a play with mapping and you don't have the money to buy a matrice, you can actually download a bit of software called DroningON. I don't know if any of you played with that yet, but it lets you do some very basic, you have to pay for it, unfortunately, but it lets you do some very basic mapping with the DJI consumer range of drones. Quite an interesting idea, and it's a nice way to get your foot in the door and have a play.
To get your feet wet, get a taste for it, yeah.
Exactly.
And what they've done on the Pix 4D side was they released a product called Pix 4D React.
Okay.
Which is a relatively cheap entry. You know, you're talking about maybe $1,400-$1,500. But you're talking about being able to use this on almost any portable platform. You don't need a lot of computing power.
Right.
You know, with regular Pix 4D, you better have the computing power. Okay. She's gonna choke real hard otherwise.
Right.
With React, what's nice about React at a public safety incident, you can go ahead, grid out your space, shoot it real quick, and hand the incident commander a 3D rendition in very, very short order. So there are some nice solutions out there when it comes to mapping. Now, you start to couple that up with this type of photogrammetry.
Well, Tom, what's your drawback from the Terra software?
There are competitive solutions out there, and depending on what you're doing as an agency on the back end, you want to be able to tie that data into your big data suite as well. So, you know, I would have to see. We haven't really looked at it hard because in my professional life, we are not into interior control issues like you know, Department of Interior or forestry issues. It's more public safety.
Okay.
So, you know, that's the realm I basically stick to when I talk about the professional use of these products.
Right, I got you.
So, and again, if you already have a flight management system that you're working with that's handling your fleet, your pilots, your maintenance, and your data flow. And again, if you're working for a government entity that has restrictions on what data can flow back to, you know, to mothership,
I got you.
The sooner we were able to wrap a solution around it, the quicker we were able to hold on to some grant dollars. And in today's world, wherever the money's coming from, you better treasure it.
Right? Yeah, definitely.
So now they have the P1 has a full frame sensor with 45 megapixels on a 3-axis gimbal.
On an interchangeable lens.
Yes, and it has interchangeable fixed focus. Yeah.
Prime, as in the, us old photographers call those prime lenses. Do they get
Yeah.
any better? No, it's a
Yeah.
prime lens. And when you're using a prime lens on those mounts, you got a significant amount of computing power at your disposal. So I see this really changing the complexion of the civil engineering, mechanical engineering realms, okay? Power management and maintenance. Just your line surveys and what you're able to pull off with your line surveys at very, very safe distances with these cameras is a game changer.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of cost avoidance too, and liability using these types of products.
Oh yeah, especially for almost any application, as far as inspection, as far as your surveying, your almost anything. We talk big about reconstructing accidents. Forget about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now we talking about, this is the thing what I've been saying before, and I hope it trickles down to the consumer level, but they went with a full frame sensor on this camera. I'm hoping that they start going with a little bit bigger sensors on the consumer stuff.
Well, one point you made, and Ash, I think you'd agree, that's where a lot of this stuff comes from, right? I mean, it trickles down, from the military down to the public sector, okay, to the private sector, to the consumer level.
It comes down to demand. I mean, the reality is that most drone operators watching this video and watching my videos do not even need a 1-inch sensor on their drone. The Mavic Air 2's 1/2-inch sensor is even too much. Most people, in the drone community don't really know what to do with the original Mavic Pro's camera sensor, in all honesty. And I keep hearing people ranting and raving on about 4K 60 frames per second,
5K, 8K.
Yeah, when I keep hearing their explanation as to why they need it, they actually don't understand it themselves. So, ultimately, if they stuck a full frame sensor on a Mavic 2, expect the price to rise substantially. The glass would have to be better as well. It would make it counterproductive.
How many? What do you think is the #1 platform your videos are being viewed on?
Mobile phone, and TV nowadays.
So we are pushing out 4K videos to be seen on a small platform screen, small form factor. Okay. I'm a big fan of shooting 4K and higher, only because as a photographer, I can crop to my heart's content, right?
Crop the hell out of it, right?
Right. But we also, our phones are starting to have better technology. And as Ash mentioned, a lot of people are watching on their smart televisions, and a lot of people and when you start getting the smart, people are buying bigger and bigger and bigger television nowadays.
Yeah, it's true. My nephew just bought a 70-inch.
No doubt about it. But the majority of people are looking at it on a tablet or a phone.
Right.
And there's a break-even point. There's a break-even point in resolution on a small form factor. With the Prime deals, and where the heck is Paul? Paul, are you still around, or those Amazon Prime deals swallowing you up?
Paul, waiting for the truck.
When Paul isn't talking, he's usually shopping on Amazon or uploading a video.
I know he's probably got a truck coming just for him.
So, Ash, should I buy the Mavic Air 2?
It's a lovely drone. I like it.
I need a smaller travel buddy.
Well, I was going to say, I must say, since I bought this, I'm flying the Mavic 2 Pro much more. I think I personally think it's a better drone. The only reason I would say buy this is if you need something lighter, smaller, and if you need something with a better active track. But I reckon that at some point DJI will roll out Active Track 3 to the Mavic 2 if it's capable.
I think it'll be a firmware update, and that's it.
Yeah, firmware and software. It depends if it's got enough processing power. I don't know how much.
Yeah, that's the thing. Does it have enough?
Right.
I don't know whether Active Track 2 pushes it to its limit or not. But
now the question is, Ash, out of the 2 drones that you just showed us all, in a quick, I need to get up and get this shot, which one would you use?
Mavic 2 with my smart controller.
Okay.
Mavic 2 Pro.
Okay.
The video quality straight out of that drone is just beautiful. The coloring, the quality. The Mavic Air 2 is lovely, don't get me wrong. But I just love, like today was bloody windy here in Sweden. And naturally I grabbed my Mavic 2 Pro because the Mavic Air 2 is not as good in wind, having tested both in heavy wind. By the way, an interesting statistic for you. I've just looked at my channel. Over the last, in fact, if I go to lifetime, my top viewers are watching on Android. That's 38.1%. Next is iOS 23, so Apple phones. Windows is 23%. So Windows and iOS tie actually as a draw.
Wow.
And also remember that Android, our TV, our Samsung is running on Android. So actually that's
and we know nobody's running a phone on Windows anymore, so that's a given.
Not unless they're probably not.
Hey, Tom,
that was a nightmare.
I've had my share of Windows phones.
Yeah.
I got a box full of them inside.
Okay.
They're awful.
That tells you something right there, Ash.
Yeah. Hey, can you believe people are even watching on Nintendo Switch? 0.0%, but they are watching, and on the Wii.
They're watching.
And there's even somebody out there using the
Hey,
Nintendo
Jay.
3DS as well. 40 people in the lifetime of my channel.
Hey, Ash, what do you think
That's
they're
funny.
going to do with the crystal sky?
I'm
gonna
don't
sell
know.
mine. Jeez.
I actually saw somebody using one in a recent surf safety video I put out. They were using the Crystal Sky, and it was nice to see it. But I love the smart controller. I wouldn't fly without it.
I've got a brand new smart controller sitting in the box. I'm thinking about selling it.
Why?
And I use the Crystal Sky Ultra.
Ash, what you need to know is
How much,
Paul
Paul?
is a
How much?
compulsive shopper, and he usually buys 5 at a time.
But why do you want to sell the smart controller?
Well, because it's only a 5-inch screen, and I've got the big Ultra with the big screen.
I suppose it depends on your eyes and everything.
And it's
You know
an
what?
old guy thing. You know what I mean?
Well,
I know.
Paul just
Paul,
likes
I
to
had the
broker
Ultra.
DJI equipment.
I had the Ultra. My issue today is setup takes too long. I got to set up that. I got to mount it to my
I'm
RC.
different, Tom, is I leave it between the handles, and I have the cover, the cover that goes on it, and I put it in a duffel bag, and then I have the drone in a smaller case. Out, boom, boom, I'm off.
Just
Yeah,
an
I'm
idea.
trying to go
Why
out
don't-
hiking and on the trail with the bike, or
Just an
That's
idea.
limiting.
I've seen somebody take a smart controller and mount. You can get a third-party mount for it, so you can actually mount a bigger screen above it, and then you use HDMI out on the smart controller straight into the bigger screen. And the smart controller's 30 seconds to fly, so you just turn on the third-party screen, and there you go. You've got your solution.
Don't give some of these guys an idea. Put a television on there.
Yeah, I can plug my smart controller right into this big monitor here right now if I want
straight
to.
out.
Yeah.
Straight
Right
out. That's a
into
nice
HDMI.
feature.
Yeah, HDMI.
Yeah, the
Is it
I/O on it is
full-size
nice, yeah.
HDMI, medium, or
Yeah, full size
Okay.
HDMI.
Interesting.
Full size
That's
HDMI. You got a full size USB, and it's
There you go. Yeah.
USB-C
There
also.
it is, mounted on my Mavic.
Yeah,
2.
yeah.
But see, he never breaks that down.
You
So
never
in that
break it down,
situation,
Paul. Yeah, that's my problem. Is my setup time is 5-10 minutes, and there goes the shot. I got to get this out. I
Yeah.
got to get that out.
That,
The smart controller.
ready to
I
go.
added it to my
Earlier.
shopping cart this afternoon. I've been putting it off for the longest time, but
Just buy
I
it.
think I'm
It's
pulling the trigger.
absolutely brilliant. So, Paul, you could use the smart controller with all of your drones, assuming you don't fly the Mavic Mini. You can use it with all of your drones and keep the setup with the third-party screen permanently connected to the top of it. Open it now. Do an unboxing live.
No, it's still sealed, and I don't know. I haven't decided whether I'm just going to pass it on to somebody else.
Send it to me. I need a backup. Send it to me. I'll open it for you.
Listen. Look, have your people meet his people and make this happen.
Honestly,
But,
I
you know,
can't
Hey,
imagine
Paul,
flying without
Paul,
it.
save on the international shipping. The shipping to New York is a lot cheaper. Okay?
Ah, damn it.
Well, the only thing is, Tom, what do you think about a 5-inch screen that's on here?
Well, see, that's look,
And
Paul,
1,000
I-
nits versus our 2,000 nits.
I know.
That's 5-inch
I know.
by what?
It-
5 by
it's-
what?
It's it's a 5.5-inch diagonal screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Instead of the 7.85 diagonal screen, on the
Yep.
on the crystal sky,
There you go.
and then it's twice the brightness on the crystal sky.
Yep.
I know, but
You don't
Paul,
need twice
life-
the brightness of the smart controller.
life. Well, we're old. We're old, Ash. We're
That's
old.
right,
Be
Ash.
careful there, man.
Just hold
Be
it there for
careful.
the rest of the stream,
Okay.
Ash.
Yeah. But Paul, life is nothing but compromises, Paul. That's what I have to consider.
Eddie
The
Nunez
thing is,
says,
between
hold on.
getting the shot,
Hold up.
Eddie Nunez says he loves the smart controller, but it has its flaws.
that's
Well,
some
Eddie
flaws.
Nunez, I don't own one, but that goes with anything. That goes with anything.
Honestly,
Seriously.
Eddie has done some extensive research with that smart controller. He has done a couple of videos.
Right,
where
he's flown
talked
quite a
about the
few
smart controller.
drones on that controller.
I actually think that he may have one that has a little bit of guru magic going on in it. If you go to his channel and check out his videos, I think he explains what's going on with his.
Well, Eddie just put in the chat
up,
that
Global?
his smart controller disconnects at 800 feet.
Does it?
That's what he just
What
said.
So, yeah, that-
Repeat that.
What happened to the?
He said the Air 2 disconnects from the smart controller
the Air
at
2.
800 feet, and I have, Eddie, I read an article on that earlier. That it's pending a
He
firmware
says he has a
upgrade.
mod on a controller.
mod
That's
on it.
right. Eddie has
Yeah.
one of those bionic
Well,
controllers.
Yeah, Eddie downs all other UAVs within proximity.
Hey,
I
Ash,
fly with Eddie a
he
lot.
cuts on his smart controller and the birds drop out of the sky.
Yeah,
Oh my
Eddie
God.
can't. We can't be facing each other when we're flying because then
He starts controlling.
I'm going to
your
get
drone.
grounded.
He's
Yeah,
cooking
exactly.
your kidneys, you mean?
Yeah. Oh, and Eddie did it to Ken Dobo as well. Good.
Oh,
Good.
get out.
You'll stay on his good side, Eddie. There
So
you
what
go.
happened when anytime you're flying with Eddie and he gets too close, he can actually see your bone
Well,
structure?
when Eddie turns
What
around
is
to
it?
talk at you, he just zaps out your signal. That's what happens.
Like an EMP.
Okay.
Is it a walking EMP? The one thing I would say about smart controllers, you do have to be a bit more conscious of the antennas on it. And
Yeah.
some people, if you're strapping a whacking great big monitor, because there is a top
Oh
mount.
my God! Look
for
at
the smart-
Herman's outfit there, Ash.
Hey, Ash,
He
When
looks
I
like he's
used to
going to
fly
do
the
satellite.
B3,
when he aims that at you,
Oh no, Herman!
when he
What
aims
have
it at
you
you,
done
Ash,
to
your
your
throat
transmitter?
itches.
By the way, Ash, the other thing
Standard?
is if you put two hot dogs on the ends of those, okay, you got lunch when he's
Yeah.
done flying. So
I have to go
Herman,
for
I can't believe you've
miles.
done that to your Phantom. Seriously.
I
what's
go
your
for
No,
problem?
that's a
miles.
Phantom 3.
He can go for miles, he says.
Seriously.
pretty scary, huh?
Hey,
Pretty
but the
scary.
problem is, Ash, you know how the antenna goes out in a beam like this?
Yeah.
Anything that goes into the beam starts melting.
Birds fall out of the sky. Yep.
The drone starts glowing.
I love the smart controller. I mean, I'll be sad. I kind of am in two minds. I want there to be a version 2, but I don't want there to be a version 2.
Oh,
You
the
know
chair's
what?
too
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. Your investment goes right down the drain. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And unless they maintain the 2 in parallel, which they won't.
No.
But I think they've, the problem is future-proofing a bit of hardware that's designed to support every future drone you're going to develop. And when OcuSync 3 comes along,
That's ingenious.
smart controller is out of date.
It's obsolete. Yeah.
But
the
Ash,
other
they
thing-
should
the other
have
thing
done
that I
that with
can't-
Crystal Sky.
Yeah, the other thing that I can't figure out is for the longest time, DJI was right in sync with iOS and Apple. Then all of a sudden they come out with a smart controller, and what do? They don't use iOS.
Yeah, but you know why? Cost. Which do you think is
Cost.
cheaper to license?
Cost
Apple,
and control.
iOS
Right.
or Android? Now,
and,
if they'd have
and
gone with
autonomy.
if they'd have gone with
What-
iOS, it would have probably been a more stable platform because iOS is just designed for Apple hardware, but that would have
Yes.
forced DJI's hands to use DJI Apple hardware.
Apple
By
hardware.
going for Android, they could implement any hardware that they wanted. I mean, I love Android. I've always used Android. I've got no
I'm a
problems
big
with it
fan
at
myself.
all. I don't understand. Someone commented the other day about the Mavic Mini. Oh, don't buy it, everybody. It crashes if you fly it with Android. I mean, that is just bollocks. Literally, it flies perfectly on Android as long as you maintain your phone and you're not flying with something from the 1990s.
You see that going down the river? There's
Yeah,
nobody in it.
Nobody's in it.
Okay.
You guys are so random. You cover about 20 subjects in 20
I know they
seconds.
go
There it goes.
squirrel. They go squirrel.
Who's in it?
Did that boat just implode? Is it a kite?
It's some kind. It's a parrot. The guy. He's trying to get it out of the water.
Ah, it's a kite surfer.
But he's taking on too much water. So
Yeah, he's finished.
yeah, Ash. Unfortunately.
Oh, there he goes. Wait.
You do go
In the air.
squirrel a lot.
worries.
I didn't know how much time you had, but I wanted Herman to talk about a particular commercial drone that is. He gave me the story. We had went over it, and this particular drone is the largest, heaviest payload carrying commercial.
Go into it now if you want.
Prototype.
Who's Herman talking to? I'm getting confused.
I'm talking to him. If he wants me to get into it, I can go into it now if you want.
Well, that's
for
what
it,
I'm
Herman.
trying to get at. Instead of us going.
Go for it, Herman.
It's like being at a house party, this, where you've got like everyone having a little conversation. Paul's sat there watching windsurfers.
The guy in the water, I don't know if you can see him
I don't know if you guys are familiar with
he's trying to swim to shore.
Pipistrel.
Just waiting for someone to start the drinking games, really. What?
Listen, I'm going for a refill. I'll be back.
I'm out of beer. Unfortunately, guys, I am going to have to go to bed because it's nearly midnight here and I've got to get up at 6:45 tomorrow to take our car to be serviced. But genuinely,
Ash,
it has been a pleasure. You've made me laugh a lot.
I want you to come on Sunday nights with those guys in the future. So it'll be about the same time, but it'll be on Sunday night. We would love to have you on there as well so we could stop going squirrel.
Yeah.
We'll make sure
the moderator.
So
we'll make sure there's no skunk sightings with Paul.
So
we'll make sure Paul cuts off the TV.
Ash. So here's what we're gonna get a drop before you leave. What I want to say, Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by, and you guys wait 1 second and say those guys. All right.
Hang on, when you is this
we go
New
like
York
this?
lingo? This drop, I got to get a drop. Is this New York
Yeah.
lingo? Is this like an advert?
Well, yeah.
Well, it could be a shot and a drop too.
Shot and a drop.
Well,
Okay, tell me, what do you want me to say then?
Okay, so I'm gonna say Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by, and then you guys say those guys.
Okay.
When he says sponsored by, you go 1,000. Those guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it?
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Okay.
I got it.
Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by
those
guys.
Was I early?
And
Ash,
Herman
No, that's quite all right.
I did
It's the
1,000,
time
but
difference.
Your
It's the
1,000
time
must be.
difference there.
Your 1,000 is slower than my 1,000.
Well,
Must be an age thing.
Sweden, right? So you're in Sweden, so you get it what? 50 milliseconds later than us?
Yeah, that must be it. It's the latency.
Depends where Zoom's
Ash, have a
servers
good
are.
one, man.
Thank you very much, guys.
Ash,
Really
I
been a
enjoy your
pleasure.
videos,
very
Ash.
We appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Let's do this again soon, all right?
Hanging out, man. Thank you.
And there's Ash's channel right there, please. If you don't have him, I don't know who the hell you are, but
Yes, please, check him out. Check
I'll
out
be
his
right
channel.
back. I have a phone call.
All right, Lawrence. Hey, Ash,
Thanks,
if
guys.
you want to know how to
The
get
squirrels
out,
are out.
just hit the little red button if you want to leave the meeting.
I thank you. And for Christmas, Herman, I'm buying you a tripod for your webcam so you can actually point.
So we can see Herman.
You know what it is?
We've been trying that for weeks.
Hang on, let me just do my check. Ready?
It's actually.
Hang on.
There you
Wednesday
go.
show is sponsored by those guys.
There you go. That's pretty
There you
good.
go.
There you go,
That's
Ash. You
good.
got it.
That's good, Ash.
Love you guys. I'll see you soon.
Take care,
All right.
Ash. All the best, man. Stay safe.
Bye.
See you later.
Well, they sent a boat out for the rescue.
Okay, he'll be all right.
Look at this live breaking news
Live breaking news.
So
right
check
here.
it out.
from our
I
on-scene
want to get
reporter,
into
Paul
this
Murray.
thing here with this drone here. Well, I actually saw this, and I immediately sent it to you, Tom, because I knew you would like this. But Pipistrel Vertical Solutions, they're based out of Slovenia, and it was established in 1989. You know, it's not that old of a company, but they do is they manufacture.
No, they've been
electric
manufacturing
airplane.
manned aviation for a while. Yeah, since
Well, as
89.
far as
Yeah.
well, you know, but they're electric, and they're very
Yes.
big in the electric field. This company was the ones that designed the Uber taxi.
Limited range.
Yeah, they designed the Uber taxi. Now they also have this here, the new Nuva V300. It's a long range, heavyweight autonomous eVTOL UAV. Now this is
it's a hybrid.
Yeah, this is
propulsion
their
system.
flagship of the Nuva UAV line that they have. And this bird here is a hybrid. And what makes it so interesting as a hybrid that it's 10 times lower cost to operate than a helicopter. You know, and it's powered and lift by a electric propulsion system. And it has
it's 8
Right.
blades for vertical lift and a pusher prop for cruising.
Exactly. And it also has low fuel capacity in cruise flight. So what amazed me the most
Low fuel consumption.
yes.
Yeah.
Low fuel consumption. But what I found interesting is that this thing can actually hold like 3 skids worth of material.
So yes, it can hold upwards of 300 pounds worth of cargo. Okay. And really, when they start to do the cost factoring, it's carrying 300 pounds worth of cargo across a 300-mile range.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it's most cost effective. It
Right.
does have a total duration of over upwards of 1,500 miles, which is incredible. But this isn't used. This isn't
crazy.
really for transcontinental flight here. This is those humps up the mountainside where
Exactly.
it's not cost effective. Right. You can drop off a skid or two. And now if you really have to go to much higher altitudes or longer distances, you can shave off some cargo capacity for added fuel capacity. Okay. So they can add additional fuel in the cargo space that will give this an even longer distance duration. But it's the transitioning from that vertical flight, which means it can land on already existing infrastructure, whether it's helipads or even unstructured areas it can land, right? Because you can control the landing, but it can take off and transition into cruise in about a minute's worth of time. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but
again, low fuel consumption, because remember the lift, there's a break-even point when you're talking about vertical with a propeller, right? You have a break-even point where your lift, equalizes with your thrust capability, and you're really starting to drain. Where in a case like this is a fixed wing with a 7-foot wing surface. This thing has nothing but lift.
Yeah.
So once you transition to that cruise, right? Once you transition to that cruising operation, you're getting all your lift now off of those wings, and you no longer need those motors to lift you. And all you're using the pusher for is to get you moving forward. So a very, very low fuel consumption, which means it's an extremely efficient aircraft.
Are you talking about a wingspan of 43 feet, 4 inches? You know.
Yeah, that wing surface you're talking about, right?
Well, they mentioned
so your span,
and then
your span is 49, right? So I believe the wing. When I'm talking about the wing surface, I'm talking about
front to back,
the width, the beam of the wing. Okay, That's an incredible amount of lifting surface right there.
This is a reminder.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, and then they have smaller models also that can carry smaller cargo amounts,
Yeah, they have
shorter
a
distances.
20.
Talking about
Right.
the Pipistrel. Hey, Marcel.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the
Yeah.
V20. But
Yeah.
this,
So there's a couple of different offerings there. You know, but that 300-pound capacity, that's pretty significant, especially when you got to get into remote areas.
oh yeah, this was impressive because they mentioned, I was like, you saw the same video I saw with the gentleman was being interviewed, and they talked about being able to get into like high mountainous regions, you know, that most drones per se or other electric you know, vehicles that they have designed now that have trouble or can't even get that high.
Right.
And this thing is able
Because of air
to
density.
reach, right, to be able to reach heights that no one's ever done before with these type of vehicles.
Well, and again, it's wing surface, it's lifting capability, right? That's what it's all about in aviation. It's your
But
ability to
Aren't they
lift.
talking about a ceiling of 8,000 feet for this vehicle, and it can handle the pressure that high up?
8,000 is not a lot of pressure, by the way, when you fly in a commercial aircraft. That is actually the pressure inside the cabin is at 8,000
But
feet
right now,
when you're flying at 33. No, I thought it was close to 8,000 meters
Yeah.
capability that it had.
Yes.
So remember, you got to factor a
Meters.
relatively 3.3 feet to every meter. So
yeah,
this is a significant altitude. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
that was
according to that story,
crazy.
isn't it going to be the largest and furthest traveling commercial drone out there until someone
Currently.
makes another one to compete?
Currently. And that's the great thing about innovation, right?
For
Little
those of you who
competition
were
sparks a
wondering
great deal
how,
of innovation.
for those of you who were wondering how they were going to deliver that bowling ball, there you go.
Yep. So on some other news,
Yeah, you had brought a
some
story to
local-
my attention.
a local public safety agency, which I'm very proud of, the New York City Fire Department, their incident management team level
Bravest.
3 deployed out to California as part of the incident management team in command of one of the wildfire operations out there. Incident management teams are made up of public safety, a group of individuals that have a high skill set in incident management. And one of the things, and the reason why I bring it up is because they brought some drones out with them this time.
Yeah. Tell us
And
about the drones.
No, Mac. Corey Mac.
will be they're leveraging these drones to identify hot spots in very high angle areas, meaning cliff sides and things like that, where they can't get members into. Plus, being able to use those drones in very, very smoky conditions where manned aircraft cannot fly. So
Right.
they're actually deploying these so that they can get that situational awareness, identify where what's transitioning as far as the fire line, and get members to those transition points as quickly as possible. So it's a good use, again, of this technology to prove that this technology can be used for good and not evil. Public safety agencies across the globe are using it. And I also believe DJI has a site, if I'm not mistaken, that they highlight rescue work and stuff like that to try to prove the value. Of course, that's for their own benefit, but the reality is these things do save lives.
Well, from
do
what
save lives.
you had brought to my attention, weren't some of those guys that came from over here went over there to not only assist these guys, but also to supervise some of these missions, weren't they?
Well, see, what the incident management team does is they're not the on the ground boots putting out the fire like you would expect, New York City Fire Department members to do here. They're out there because of their expertise in large scale incident management, right? Being able to deal with the logistics, the financing. These members are assume different roles. They go out there, they set up a tent city, usually airlifted in by the government on C-130s or C-5 Galaxies, and get deployed. And they set up a self-sufficient environment where they can perform the incident command operations. They can get the supplies and the materials where they need to get to. And that's where the expertise comes in. And of course, because of the work they've done with NIST and other public safety agencies and their role now with the nationwide COA with the FAA, they can operate their aircraft out there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the same thing happens is what happens here is they still put in NOTAMs, okay? They still follow procedure, and it's a very rigid structure in which they operate.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't change whether they're operating here, fighting a high-rise fire, or they're out in the boonies on a fire line on a major forest fire. So it's their constant drilling with these drones makes them very proficient at what they do. So they're able to deploy quickly, identify, okay, and communicate with them. And those are the key aspects of using this type of product.
Okay. So yeah, that was interesting on the one that you had brought to my attention, because you know, every year these guys go through this out there with these fires, it seems like. And I don't know, some of the solutions that I've heard for the problem, I don't know, it's not my expertise. I know nothing about forests and how to deal with that. But
Forest management is a tough road, right? I mean, you know, being able to really, you know, we've encroached upon these spaces. And, you know, when you hear about these losses, it's because we now build in these areas and there are no real fire breaks. And that's stuff that really has to be managed. They have to be able to build in fire breaks between some of these wooded areas, that they can compartmentalize these fires as quickly as possible. And the smoke jumpers who fight these fires, they're amazing individuals. These are individuals that go out there, with a can of gas, okay, a shovel and a pick, and they go out there
and dig walls, make
they
firewalls.
create fire breaks. They create fire breaks. And imagine being out there, 2, 3, 4 individuals in a little group out in the middle of nowhere, and it's forest fires all around you. That's a tough road. And it's good to know that now we're starting to use product like, infrared drones to be able to identify and locate these individuals. There have been numerous cases where there have been successful rescues with fire crews going out, sending the drone out and saying, "Hey, we lost communication with this group of 4, this team of 4,"
and they
put the drone
that,
out,
Tom.
and they identify them and get them out of there. That's amazing. That's amazing.
I did see a story pertaining to that. How I don't know if they were they were making fire breaks or whatever, but they were a group of about 6 to 10 firemen who
smoke jumpers
got completely surrounded, and they had to pull out the fire bags and climb inside them and call for help.
Yeah.
And they had to send in a helicopter to pull these guys out of there. I did see something about that, maybe about 3 weeks ago, something to that effect. But it was like maybe 7 to 10 people that they actually went in, and I didn't know they had special fire bags that if the fire was coming close, you climb inside it and it reflect the heat away from you.
Yeah, realize those aren't fail safes. Okay, remember, we lost 19 firefighters out there in Prescott, Arizona.
Wow.
That were overcome by a forest fire. Okay, and they knew it. They knew it was happening.
Hey, Roger.
So, being able to get some eyes in the sky when you can't even put manned aircraft up in the air, that's a game changer. That's a real game changer, and I think that makes a definite justification to keep leveraging this product moving forward, and making it easier
Kelly.
for these public safety agencies to get this product and to deploy this product. You know, the hoops that you have to jump through today to try to leverage this product is a bit ridiculous when it comes to the public safety side of the fence. And I would hope over a short period of time that gets worked out. So if a fire department, EMS organization, or law enforcement organization needs to use this type of product, that there's a faster track for them to go down to secure the funding and get the product, get the training,
Right.
and deploy it and maintain it.
Well, I just saw that. Well, I read the article that you sent me. I thought it was interesting that how these guys use the uses of the drones to locate these hot spots, and they're able to douse these fires from overhead and stuff like that. That's why when we talk all the time about emergency areas and guys flying and needing to stay out of these areas, things like this is important, because if I'm not mistaken, in Arizona with the fires where they had, isn't that where they had spotted a drone out there as well? Someone flying
Well,
around?
there have been some instances, and realize what, there's a lot of stuff out there, right? Drones are responsible for every sighting out there. We all know not necessarily the case, but there have been documented cases where manned aircraft being used for suppression activities have had to avoid an area because of and I know it's a term that Sean from Geekspana doesn't like, but a rogue drone operating in the area.
Right.
Just like in this city here in New York, and probably a lot of major cities, your public safety entities who are now trained to use UASs, unmanned aerial systems. Part of the protocol right now is if there is an unidentified drone in the area, you have to land, because you don't want to further impact the safety of the members that are operating at that scene. And if you can't predict where that other drone is going to be, you do have a safety issue. So that's why we implore people to please, think twice. When you say, well, wait a second, it could be the media. Public safety entities get into agreements with the media on where they can be, where they can film, things like that.
I see it all the time,
and it's
here in New York.
It's a pretty good relationship, okay, especially from the technical standpoint. I last year attended an informational seminar that was put out by the National Press Photographers Association for public safety personnel.
Okay.
So that we could talk over, they want to use their drones too for news gathering, right? So the simple fix there is, if we have a memo of understanding with them, then there's air cooperation is there. They know that we're flying in this sector right here, and we've identified this sector for them to fly in. So they're no longer an unknown element, and we can still operate jointly. Okay. So there's a lot to be said for that. And the problem is when you throw somebody into the mix that throws up their drone out of their backyard to get a good look at a house fire a block away, that can pose some problems. Because you don't know where they are, how they're going to operate, how they're going to react to the situation. Are they going to get too close? Are they going to get caught up in the thermals above the fire? That's going to take their drone out of their control. So it's things like that you have to worry about.
Well, this is why remote ID will be a great plus to all of this.
As long as it's like my license plate and my know-it-all neighbor down the block doesn't identify me as the operator. Okay?
Well, fortunately, maybe for you too, Tom, but I'm speaking for me personally. Right now, where I fly and the people that see me flying, they don't even look at the drone no more because they're used to seeing me there. I'm a part of the furniture. I'm a piece of the furniture. They know this guy is flying from this rock along the beach, and he's either going in one or two directions. Some people come back, they take pictures. And we actually had New York City fire department gentleman pull up on the boardwalk. This was maybe about 3 weeks ago. I forget if Stevie was there, Stevie Bronx, or was a guy Mel I was flying with, had been flying with lately. But they actually came up, it was Mel, came up on the boardwalk and he watched us. He talked back and forth, he communicated on his radio, and it was obvious that where we were flying, if we weren't flying over people, we weren't bothering anyone, it was along the beach. And you know what? He took pictures. He recorded the drones flying by, the FPV drones flying by. We left that spot down on the jetties along the water and went up on the boardwalk to, you know how the boardwalks have lookout points?
Yeah.
We went out up to a lookout point and we started flying in the other direction. And he moved a little closer to us and talking on the radio repeatedly. We could see him watching and we didn't have an incident. But also during the same time, there were fishermen out on the jetties, and that's illegal. You know, because a wave can come and boom, you're
Wave
gone.
can come and take them off the jetty.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it happens a lot out here.
And then once the riptide gets them there, they're all the way down by Atlantic
and
Beach
if
by
he
that
survives
point,
being smashed against the rocks, they
Well,
still
yeah.
have to recover the body. But
Yeah.
just to show, he was obviously paying attention to us as well as them, but more so us. But if you're not doing anything wrong or malicious, and if someone does confront you about flying, don't be an asshole. Welcome them. A lot of them, your approach on how you meet somebody the first time is tainted in their brain for
Oh, that goes
forever.
across the board, right? When the, I call them the squad. You know, the squad comes up to you. What are you doing?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's how you engage them. How you engage them. Be respectful.
That is
Okay.
true.
You know,
The thing is, what happens when you get approached by the person that really just doesn't want you there? Lawrence is forgetting the fact
yeah,
that
there's way, you know,
there are a lot of people out there that feel that they need to know what everyone is doing. They need to be.
Yeah.
They just need to be.
We've had that happen on Tom
I've had
out
it
here.
too.
Herman
I've
had it
had
happen, and I should have warned him that people are like that out here where I live. You'll have someone walk up to you, your face is emerged in the hood, and they'll walk up to you. What are you doing? And Herman will say, flying a drone.
Well, I've had that happen to me already.
Why are you flying a drone? You know, and he was very cordial to the lady, but she had a million
But
questions.
she was ready to burn a battery.
Yeah, well, she, you know, look, you know, curious, okay? The gossip girl. It's the, you know, she's got to know, she's got to be plugged in. So feed that curiosity is the way I look at it.
Right.
And engage. And if it's distracting, I've said to people, hey, could you just give me a minute? I'm going to land and I'll give you some time to talk, okay?
Right.
We got to that.
It depends.
We got to that point, and I said to Lawrence, I'm going to go out and hand catch it because I don't want it to hit anyone.
Right, because she was at that point
with her. Right. I got it.
And she goes, it's going to hit me?
No, but he went. She goes, it's going to hit me? He goes, no.
Yeah.
And he walked away, and I said, miss, if you stand here, right here, let him. And she saw it coming in, and she was like, ooh, and ah. But when he went to step off, Tom, she took 2 steps behind him. Okay, Paul.
So
I'm gonna do a test flight in the backyard.
Okay, you can catch a ship.
No,
all right.
I'm gonna do a test flight in the backyard.
Okay.
10-4, Paul. Look, I do my best. You're gonna get the occasional. It doesn't matter what you say. It's not gonna make a difference. But I've actually found that to be a small percentage of the population.
Oh, it is. It is. You know, I just think that a lot of people are now worried about being attacked physically by that guy that can just harass you now and has the right to harass you now. Because you know how people are.
Yeah.
Road rage, street rage,
app is a road to
rage.
rights to some people.
Yeah, I know.
Walking down the street rage.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, you know, Rick Moranis got sucker punched.
Right.
Right.
Joe says sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug.
Yeah, so true. So true.
Yes. Yeah, it's true.
And then when you're really feeling down, then the wiper comes and scrapes you right off the windshield. Okay.
Yeah, this is true.
Oh,
Or
man.
if you're the windshield, you get a crack in you.
Now, JSK, you came up with a good thing. Paul got a toy, right? I noticed when Paul got up, that was not a Crystal Sky monitor that was attached
No, it
there.
wasn't.
That looked like
No,
an
it was-
iPad.
That,
Okay.
yes, it was. It looked like an iPad, and it was also probably an Inspire One.
So folks, I'll announce it here. I'm probably selling a Phantom 4 Pro and a Crystal Sky monitor. So if there's any interest, let Herman know. It's Wednesday.
You
Herman
heard that,
gets cut
Herm?
in for Herman gets cut in for 1%. Okay.
Yo, Herm?
Yeah.
Oh, no. If I recall, didn't you say you could use a third Phantom?
No. I'm good.
Okay. Because I tell you, the package deal with the Phantom 4 and the Crystal Sky, it basically rivals the price of a new Phantom 4. I mean, it's not a bad deal when you think about it.
Rivals the price of the Phantom 4.
When you think about that
I'll have to
2000 nit
DM you.
brightness, okay?
I have to DM
Think
you.
about that 2000 nit brightness, man. That's, in those
Commercial.
beach days, all that reflection coming up from the sand and that water, Lawrence, right?
No, that was
real
not
tough.
Mike Miller. That was not a. Oh, hey, Mike Miller's asking, is it a V2?
I think it's just the version 1 of it.
He's out there flying the Inspire 1.
No. Mike Miller was asking if your Phantom a V2.
Oh, no, Mike, it's a P4P, a Phantom 4 Pro. It's not a V2, unfortunately.
The first version.
I could
Lightbridge.
definitely hold an auction if it were a V2. Okay.
Yeah, you could. You freaking could.
But it's an amazing, come on, that camera is hard to rival. That's a great camera.
Yeah.
And a steady flyer.
And that's why.
And a steady flyer. I just got to downsize.
But that's why I said what I said about DJI listening to me and some of the things that they mentioned, what's going on with that new camera that they just put out for the Matrice. You're talking about, they went with a full frame global mechanical shutter.
Well, that's so you don't get any of that jello effect that a mechanical shutter is it's nice and sharp. It's clean all the way to the edges.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get the distortion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
At the edges, which, remember that if you're using this for its intended purpose,
right,
that will totally screw your results. Okay, unless it were a mechanical shutter.
Now, that's why I tell anybody that if you are looking to pick up a Phantom 4 Pro, don't let the fact that it's not the OcuSync stop you.
V2,
yeah. Don't let that it's not that. Believe me when I tell you that Lightbridge is good enough. Honestly, Lightbridge is what brought everybody to DJI.
Yes, yes, it is.
I've never had any connectivity problems with this, and
have
Herman and Lawrence.
Hold on, Tom, because
Lawrence,
the person who's not here, Paul, has had issues with Lightbridge.
I don't
and the Inspire
that because
the Inspire One.
Paul has said that he has a problem with Lightbridge. That's why he loves the Mavic series and the what do you call it? And the OcuSync 2. But my thing is that Paul has now bought at least 4 of those Inspire ones that I know of, and not 5 or 6. And that is not even on Lightbridge 2. That is on the original Lightbridge. So if he enjoys that, he's got to enjoy Lightbridge 2.
Well, you know what? I've never had any connectivity issues, and Lawrence and Herman know where we fly. I mean, it's full of man-made interference. I've flown it out in the desert areas of the southwest of the United States with amazing results.
You didn't know how to act, did you?
I'll tell you, man. You can actually maintain visual line of sight for many, many miles.
Yes.
And of course, with the Phantom, you can maintain visual line of sight. Unlike,
this is true.
The Mavic just disappears on you. But it's a good flyer. I hate to give her up, but I would hate to see it just sit there and continue to collect dust.
Yeah, I got you.
You know, I'm looking for a small package, something I can carry with me and always be with me kind of situation. And the Phantom doesn't lend itself to that.
Paul is back.
Unfortunately.
Paul, we were mentioning how you have issues. You were having issues with Lightbridge.
Right here.
Yeah, step up to Lightbridge too.
Oh man,
What? How did the test go?
not good.
What happened to it?
No camera all the way.
Oh,
Why it's not? It's
It's
not
just
picking
black. It said high interference zone, high interference.
no
That's what I
camera.
didn't like about it when I was flying it before. It's not like AccuSync, I'll tell you that.
There's a lot to be said for AccuSync. Well,
I have
definitely
no
getting
problem in New York City with Lightbridge 2 and the Phantom 4 Pro. Absolutely no problem. We're getting the same range, going the same places that I do with the AccuSync.
Yeah, we've flown that bird all over, right, Herman? I mean,
It's just that with the AccuSync, you get that 1080p image all day.
yeah, it's the color on the camera, you know, the latitude of exposure, I really enjoy. Hey, Flight Path, how are you? You know, it's still a good bird.
You know,
still a
Tom,
good bird.
And this is the only thing why I said what I said about larger sensor size, because what they've done with the Mavic series, especially with this new Air and everything, there's a lot of parlor tricks, you know. And when you get into camera and you say, okay, camera functions just like our eyeball, you know, and if the bigger the eye, the bigger the C.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, so you got better image quality with a slightly larger sensor.
Well, again, I agree, Herman. It's all marketing, okay? Give me more megapixels. Give me more megapixels without realizing what that means, okay? So if I have a small, you know, very small sensor size, I can pack
question for you.
30, 40 megapixels onto that. But will it be the same as that 1-inch sensor with the same amount? Of course not, because you get that light, that spillover between those pixels, and that makes a big difference. You get that chromatic aberration, you get the noise, it's not discrete enough. The larger the sensor, the better you are, of course. But there's a lot of electronics that have to go behind that.
Right,
and that's where it comes into play.
Most cameras with larger sensors, they go at less megapixels, because you're getting enough light coming through those megapixels. And that's how most cameras, when they explain it, that's what they'll tell you. We can get enough light through those megapixels with a larger sensor. Now you got these cameras with these smaller sensors throwing
more discrete.
Ton of split megapixels to tell you we got 48 or 80, we got 2,000 megapixels.
Well, please,
and then it's dark images.
Well, leading companies have gone along that route. This is no different than the DSLR market. You know, with Sigma came out and Fuji came out with the layered pixel count, and they just blew it up and said it was this big. The reality is, you have a finite amount of space to fit X number of pixels, and then filter that appropriately to capture the image. And the more you try to shove into that smaller space, the less discrete that image is going to be. Okay, the more chromatic aberration you're going to wind up getting, the more spill of color you're going to wind up getting. So that's why you want the larger sensor, but the larger sensor comes with constraints. I mean, size is everything, right? I love my mirrorless camera, my Z6, because of the size of that sensor and the sharpness I get to the edge of that sensor, versus even a full frame DSLR.
You said to the edge.
To the edge.
Sensor. That's important. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize when we're talking sensors, Just because a sensor is this big doesn't mean the whole sensor is being used.
Well, it's just like using a zoom lens, right? I mean, where is the sweet spot of that lens? What's the sweet aperture of that
Right.
lens? Okay. It's not across the entire range. That's why when a pro photographer talks about prime lenses, we're talking about clean glass,
Hey,
right?
Paul,
With, you know, when you add zoom capability,
one
you
second.
are going to distort the image.
Hold on a second, Tom. What you say,
Yeah.
Lawrence?
Flight Path was asking a question for Paul. Are you still using the first generation inspired batteries? They are super sketchy for me.
I think they are. I don't know.
See, I don't own an Inspire, so I couldn't tell you if it was first gen or second, but I would tend to believe
That it came with the drone?
They only have this battery right here. It's only got 24 charges on it.
So it's probably
20-something?
fairly newer of the ones that were last produced.
Okay, because I could not tell you. Just passing by to say hi, Charisse. Thank you for popping in.
Hey, Charisse, how you doing?
Flight Path, I would be interested to know how you can tell what's a first gen and what's a second gen, because that's just
Serial
knowledge I
number.
would
It's
like
on
to
the
know.
model number.
Okay, that I'm
It
gonna
should be as part of the model number. It should be in there.
I'm gonna have to look into that, Tom, because
Yeah.
the first gen would drain super fast. It's true that 15 minutes would be up in like 7 or 8.
I think I'm just going to return it. I want it on.
By the way, Aldrin, great channel, man. Always something to learn on Aldrin's channel on Flight Path.
On Flight
if you don't
Path,
already,
yes.
If you don't already subscribe, I don't know what you're doing here. Okay?
Yes.
There you go, plain and simple. And we appreciate you. We'd also like to have you on
Good channel. Yes.
one night in the future.
Hey.
Ash was just on here. We've had Haya as well on here. Why not join the crowd, become one of those guys? That's the only way we get blue wrenches out here. You got to be on the panel, dude. So hit up me, Novice Quads, or Phantom Flight 101, and we could make it happen. We would definitely, you're a fan here. Also, so we appreciate you coming
emails on the channel, just hit me up.
Yeah, definitely. Hit up Herman, and we'll have you on here as well. We do 2 live streams a week, one on Wednesday nights at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Or 2 p.m. Pacific time for Aldrin.
Or 2 p.m. Pacific time. Yes. Have to remember that. He's on the other side of the country. And
he's always got that pleasant weather to fly in.
And 5 p.m. on Sunday nights.
That's on Eastern.
Or 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So one of those 2 nights, pick one, hit up Herman. We would love to have you on those guys in the near future.
Anytime, man. Just like I said, my email, all my information for the channel is on my channel up there. So you could just hit me up.
So here's another one.
I'll hit you back.
So Aldrin, should I pull the trigger on a Mavic Air 2? This is the first time I'm a late adopter, but I do have the Mavic 2 Pro in the arsenal.
Mars,
but I'm looking for something that's easier to carry. That's
getting it
just
now.
with me more often, with less setup time. So I'm thinking of the Mavic Air 2 with the smart controller.
There you go.
Make it simple.
Okay.
Keep
That
it
smart
simple.
controller sounds like a good idea. I just hope that, I every time I say I'd like to get one, I just hope and pray that they don't come up with this.
Just realize it's
3 and kill it.
What is it? It's out a year and a half now. So that's the scary part. Okay, that's the scary part. And of course, the other scary part is being a Crystal Sky owner.
Ray Kelly says, Tom, definitely get the MA2.
Thanks. Yeah. And Aldrin loves his. I mean, Aldrin, you've made some great videos on that. And I know with the latest firmware updates, it's a little performer. So that I like. I like the active track capability that it has now. That spotlight mode really looks sweet too. To be able to lock in on something and then just fly around it and keep that gimbal focused on the object. I used to do my little hack, and I would do that, using some of the smart flight features in the Mavic 2
M82 is a
Pro.
great size.
Yeah, yeah. It's right in between there. I love my Mini. The Mini, don't get me wrong, the Mini's great. I mean, you know, you don't have to worry as much on the batteries. It's always there. You drop them in, it takes off real quick. It's quiet. But that first Mavic Air, man, that sounded like you were being hunted down by killer bees. So no matter how small that was, it just called attention from every direction.
Okay. And I was
So I'm getting some
wondering
good feedback here. I appreciate it, guys.
Eric says the MA2 is nice, looking for a good polarized filter lenses for some for some
fall and lake shots.
Lake
Yeah.
shots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really get those colors to pop with the polarized filter.
You know, I do need some type of Mavic style bird. I'm out of the loop. I still have a Mavic Pro.
Well, then you got to DM me, man. I got, you know.
Tom.
I also, by the way, if anybody's interested, I got a D500 Nikon for sale too, with a registered number of shutter clicks. So you know,
yeah,
I always turn over. I turn over my equipment.
Hey, wait, Herman needs a camera.
No, I'm good right now. I'm good.
Okay, because Tom, I will DM you. We will talk before the week is out. Of course, I would love to try and bring the MA2 when possible because of quality, or the M2P. The M2P quality is still superior, but it has a daily driver.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah, that's my point, Aldrin. Yeah, that daily driver, the one that's always going to be with you. It looks like a good all-around, like you said, great all-purpose tool. It's just like, hey, you're out there, and it's too much. You know, like I said, the setup time to get my Mavic Pro up in the sky right now with my crystal sky and the remote is just too long. And I know the other good thing is I can use that smart controller for both the Mavic Air 2 and the Mavic 2 Pro. That's the nice thing about the controller as well. It's a quick setup in that regard. But yeah, I'm everything I'm seeing out there, and with Aldrin's videos, I might pull the trigger. It is Amazon Prime Day, Paul, right? I pulled the trigger. So.
Well, you know what? I was interested. Like I said, I was interested, and I wanted to pick one up, but I'm worried that the very next drone won't it won't be on that same transmission, and they will go to controller up in the air. You know, and that's
well, I'm kind of seeing that
right
hard
now,
to follow because that they did put the Fly app on it as well.
Right.
You know, the firmware update for the smart controller. To me, that was a signal that at least they were supporting it.
Well,
unlike the feeling of abandonment I have on the Crystal Sky.
Well, see, to be honest with you, and me and Lawrence have talked about this, and a lot of guys really believe that the next drone of the level of the Phantom and the Mavic 2 Pro will be on that Fly app, and I do not believe that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm not sure. Well, remember, we got 3 segments, right? We got Fly, we got Go For, and we got Pilot right now. You know, they're there for different purposes. I do see them supporting Fly a lot more going forward than they will for Go For. The platform's a little easier. Or what I would like to see is the ability to go to that HUD type display on the screen, you know, like the primary flight controller, you know, for the Matrice series. I long for that because it's got the big 6 instrument gauge on it, everything I need.
Even talking about that, right? The Fly app is so far from what the Go For app is to even talk about being that. That's what it's you have less parameters to work with, less things to control over. You have less control over different things with the camera and everything, and how the drone actually works. There's more things of control and more settings in the Go For app. So that's why I said I don't feel that
I'm not
those
disputing
major drones will be on that Fly app.
I'm not disputing that the Go 4 app has a lot of capability, but over time, I think a lot of that capability they'll build into the Fly app to some degree. Okay. I think it's probably a natural progression for them. Now, when you're talking about, say, a Mavic 3 Pro, and if we're talking about an aircraft that's, a $3,000-$4,000 price tag, yeah, I don't think you're going to be flying it with the Fly app. Okay. Because if you're springing $3,000 to $4,000 for a drone, with very few exceptions, you're not doing that because it's just fun to fly. You're doing that because you got a purpose to fly.
Right.
And if that's the case, then you're going to need something like Pilot.
But what bothered me, and the thing is the fact that I pretty much look at DJI giving up on the Crystal Sky monitor. You came out with
that's
this thing,
that's the problem,
and
right?
Here was a monitor that can go from drone to drone to drone. And you came out with a smart controller to try to use on all of your drones. That's like basically saying we don't need you anymore.
Well, it's very similar to the one that's used on the matrices. It's a slightly different flavor, but form factor is basically the same. They made a decision that they wanted a product that could wrap everything together and be a quick deploy. And they met that requirement. Remember, this is just a progression from the Phantom 4 Pro with the built-in, the Pro Plus. With a 5.5 Crystal Sky 1000 nit monitor. Welcome smart controller.
Right.
Okay?
As you learn,
but now you're talking about
you do better.
A small package ready to deploy. Now, Aldrin, if you're still in the room, I want to know, does the smart controller fit in the Mavic Air 2 shoulder bag? Can I squeeze it in there?
Interesting.
Okay. So, of course, after removing the Mavic Air 2 controller.
We can get you a hard case with a shoulder strap.
No, buddy, I got to be able to fit. Remember, I'm an e-biker now. I got to fit it in my bike bag.
Now he's got to buy a couple of Merces.
It's only about that big.
Yeah.
He needs a few Merces.
Yeah, but I got a bike bag that has a mirrorless camera in it. Okay. It's also where I carry now my Osmo Action,
He's
my
gonna try
Osmo Pocket,
Tom.
and two Session 5
Tom,
cameras.
he says, hold on, let him try now.
He's going to try it out.
This will be the make or break whether you get it or not. I'm
going to get Tom a backpack that'll hold all of that stuff in it.
Yeah.
Please. Remember, me and my wife compete. She's got Coach bags, okay? And I have camera bags, okay? I'll be auctioning those off soon, too, please. Okay? Stevie, you like that, right? That's a very dramatic look.
Loving Tom's lighting today.
Okay.
Like a villain.
It's a very dramatic look today. Only because one of my other lights went out. Okay, that's all. And I haven't futzed with it. So, yes, this is dramatic, Stevie.
To be honest, I would really consider the Mavic 2, the Mavic Air 2, but I would be a lot happier with the Mavic 2 Pro.
Well, like Stevie said earlier, the half-inch sensor gives him, and the 4K 60, and to me, the 4K 60 is a big plus.
It is.
Gives him enough to play with on the editing
you're used
floor.
to shooting in only 4K at 60. That makes a difference.
I know. So I like the idea of the
show
of the 4K 60. Definitely like that.
I shoot 4K 60. I'll even shoot 48 frames per second as well. Because I find that when you do certain things where you can play around with it a little bit more than as opposed to shooting with 24 frames or as opposed to shooting with 30, and you can always push to the end render to a 30.
When you're shooting at 60 frames and you drop that bad boy down to 24, there's nothing more buttery. Of course, unless you got 120 or 240. But again, we're always wanting for something more, aren't we? We're never satisfied. Never satisfied.
Global Drone says, Lawrence, bite the bullet. It's funny. I pulled a poll because while you were talking about it, I was looking at different places to check out the Fly More combos. You're not going to beat a G for the Fly More combo. I'm seeing that. So I just told them maybe I will keep you posted, Global Drones, because I have the Mavic Pro. I have the Phantom 4 Pro, which I was supposed to buy a controller for, but I brought some FPV stuff, so that kind of put that in the niche. So Tom, we need to talk. All right, and the Mavic 2 Air, the Mavic Air 2 seems optimum, but my problem is I live along the beach. I don't want to beat up those motors fighting in the wind because there's always an ocean breeze out here flying along the beach. How does that thing handle in the wind? Can anyone tell me personally who has one that's in the chat, or even you, Paul? You live in Michigan. I'm sure it gets windy. How does the Mavic Air 2 handle the wind? And that would be the make or break for me.
Actually
my
does
Mavic
handle
Pro.
it really well, but not as good. The bigger you get, the heavier the motors, the easier it is. But I flew the Mavic Air 2 30-mile-an-hour winds without any problem.
Low and slow. I need the option in the edit. Okay. 4K.
Herman, you gotta get flight path to your email address. Aldrin's asking for your email address.
Oh, if he goes to my channel, it's right in the about section.
Cool. And by the way, Lawrence,
Yes.
you were supposed to get me ABD's email address, right?
Dude, if I don't write
The
it
other
down
day.
or put it on my forehead so I see it in the mirror.
ABD quadcopter.
He was in here earlier too and had
I
left.
know.
He was in here earlier and had left too. You know what? I'm going to go to his page. Is it okay for me to send him your Facebook link?
Oh, absolutely, sure.
I will go to his page and actually forward
Yeah,
him.
he was asking about the bike, so I did want to get back to him.
I remember.
Okay. I did want to get back to him on that.
All right, I'll do that. And I'll forward your link to his email. I'm going to check it.
Yeah, that's great.
ABD. What was the name? ABD what?
Quadcopter. ABD quadcopter.
ABD quadcopter. I'm searching. I do not see him. Let me scroll back in the chat. Maybe I could go back early in the chat when he was here and just click on his name, right?
No.
Okay.
I thought was he in the room before? I'm not sure.
He was in before you came in. He was
okay.
Ash DroningON with
Okay.
you earlier. But flight path, we would love to have somebody from where it's always warm on the stream. No, I'm just
San
playing.
Diego's a great place, man. Yeah. Oh, there's he's in here. ABQ. Oh, that's what I got wrong. ABQ.
ABQ. It's ABQ. Tom has me searching for someone else.
It's all my fault.
ABQ.
Yeah, he's here. He just popped up.
Okay, there we go. Wait a minute. Let's go down to the bottom there. I got you. Okay, ABQ. I'm going to send you Tom's Facebook link.
Is he on Twitter?
On your profile. I'm looking in your About Me section, and I see a link that says ABQ Quadcopter. Join group. I need a way to contact you.
Albuquerque. Now,
ABQ.
that makes sense.
Albuquerque Quadcopter. Do me a favor. In my About Me section is my email. Send me an email. I'll get it as soon as you send it, and I will forward you Tom's Facebook link. And then that'll be done with.
And then just DM me. Yeah.
And then you can DM him and you guys can make things work. Okay? Because I'm on your page here in the About Me section and I do not see an email here. So, but, oh, wait a minute. He's got a Facebook page. I saw the Facebook link. But it's a join group, Albuquerque Quadcopter. All right. Well, I'm joining your group now. Okay. So
I got you, ABQ.
You got him already?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good.
Okay.
And I guess I will just join the group anyway. Tom, I got his email.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, you
All
got it?
good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you can knock him out.
The ABQ, it was hidden, but I copied it just in case he didn't get it. So now you guys are in touch, and that's very much. You know what, Herman? Tonight was a great live stream. I'm glad Ash got a chance to come in here because when Hyatt came in, it was like,
Okay, it fits in the bag, Tom.
yes, Tom, it fits in the bag. Check your email.
Good deal.
Light 101.
Good deal.
It fits in the bag.
In the bag. Okay, so now Tom
Nice.
sounds like somebody's getting the Mavic Air too.
It's like somebody's pressing
Well,
that.
to be
Paul,
honest,
I don't want to steal Paul's thunder. I'm
listen,
not going to do any Amazon shopping until
Tom,
the podcast
you
is
need to
over.
get it so you can get rid of that damn tie clip mini.
Yeah, right. I'll tell you.
I know
that
you like
Mavic
it.
Mini is
I know you like it, Tom. I know
that's a
you,
little
and I know a lot
beast.
of other people like it.
Yeah, it's a little beast.
I just can't resist if I did have one putting it on my tie. I would just take a picture like that with a suit on.
You know what? You got to say it's cute though. I mean, when you put it next to that Mavic 2 Pro, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've
It
also
looks
seen
like it
some
had a baby,
photographs.
right? It looks
Yeah,
like
I've also seen there's a guy out there who poses them in all kinds of stuff. They've been at the beach. They go on family outings. He's very inventive in the way he poses his Mavics. He's from the Air to the Mini to the Spark. They all seem to have a place in the family.
All right, so I'm seriously considering as a birthday / Christmas gift to myself.
Oh, here we go.
Getting the Mavic Air.
Good, Lawrence.
Do I want the Pro?
Just run out and get it. Matter of fact,
If you want the Pro, we can talk. I mean,
Tom,
I'll do anything for a price almost.
Tom,
okay?
I got the got your DM. We will talk, definitely.
Or if you want to go up to the DJI store, whatever you want to do.
No. I'll just have to go a week or two without beer, but I can handle that.
I drive
we'll
you
work
up there.
out. We'll work it out.
I can handle that.
I'll drive you up there. Don't worry about it.
I know you will. Any chance Herman gets to go to the DJI store, he had a herniated disc in his back, and he's like, "Now I want you to catch me coming towards the store." Was using his Osmo Pocket. You remember that, Herman?
That was
the video going.
Bearing every bit of pain to walk
like,
into that DJI store. Like, Lawrence, just catch me. I'm going to do this in one take. I can't do this twice.
Tom, if he had stepped on a pea, he would have spasmed out in pain. That's how much pain he was. and he went into the store, and you couldn't see it in his face, but I knew the whole way it was killing him.
That's funny, man.
Herman will anything to get into that DJI store. Herman will go.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to see if they repaired it or not, because last I saw were photos of it.
They've been back in business.
I haven't been on that side of town, so I didn't know if they reopened or what. Hey Tom, Rad no longer selling the rear rack until they have it.
I actually sent them a video to show them the problem, because when I posted it on the Rad Mini group, I was surprised it blew up right away. People were jumping in there.
Get out of here.
But it actually, what they did was there was a bit of a mistake when they tooled the rack. Actually, I believe it was when they tooled the bike. So now they have to alter the rack. So I sent them a little video where I actually had to take their rear rack, hit the arms a couple of times with a dead blow hammer, and then still slot the mounting hole in order for it to meet up with the on bike mounts.
Tom,
which are welded in place. So that's what he's alluded to. Hey, my favorite episodic TV was MacGyver. So, whatever it takes, whatever it takes.
Hammer is used to drive nails. You used it as a persuader.
I took I had to block up the rack up because it's a heavy welded piece of metal there.
And you persuade.
But I had a nice round, a inch and a half stock dowel. I put it in the right place. Tap, 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 and I was back in business, baby. Okay. I had to do it twice. The first time I was frustrated as all hell because I tried to wrestle the bolts in there, and of course on the bike it's threaded. So the worst thing you could do is strip that. I fought. I cursed. I finally got it to work. And then when the second bike came in, I knew exactly what to do, and within 5 minutes, it was mounted on the bike.
Right.
And my wife said,
because of
"You didn't curse
experience.
as much with your bike." I said, "No, I didn't. I got it down."
That's when you tell her that's because I love you.
Yeah.
And
She
happy
knows by
belated
what I paid for the
anniversary. How
bike.
was the anniversary, man?
Very nice. We got ourselves the
Yeah.
2 bikes for our anniversary, so that was
that's
our
all.
anniversary gift to each other.
I'm looking to see
Can't go
some
wrong.
footage from that
Can't-
360
Yeah.
R.
Getting 2 bikes too, Lawrence?
Yeah, I'm gonna get them. Gonna get that out there soon. But yeah,
Alright.
we get
Lawrence,
that 360 camera. That's a sweet camera.
Lawrence, you getting 2 bikes too?
No, man.
Wait a year, I'll sell you mine.
Let's see if I can get a drone first, Tom.
Okay. Okay.
See,
You just
No,
keep
no,
on.
not
Whenever I buy something, just ask a year later. What are you doing with that? You get ready to sell it? So
you see Lawrence out there biking with the wife,
No.
flying drones.
No. My daughter, maybe. My daughter, now she would come because she would have her request would be, does the bike come in pink or purple?
my wife's bike is white, orange accents, and
Mhm.
brown grips and a seat, and mine is the jet black version.
Okay.
Okay, without the step through. But I'll
The
tell you, they're
man-
game changers,
the
man. They're
manly
game
bike.
changers.
The manly bike.
Yeah,
I
the
repeat,
manly one.
The manly
They're game
bike. Jet black.
changers. What a difference,
manly one?
because
Yes.
with the pedal assist, it just smooths out any hill. So, we go a lot further
My
now
friend
than
just
we did
brought the
before.
Insta Twin Pack from B&H for
404, that's a
All right.
great price. Great price.
Okay.
What's great about that Insta 360 camera is it's set it up and forget it. Okay.
Okay.
How many times have you gone out there with a GoPro just to find, when you look at your footage, oh man, the mount just slipped slightly and my head was cut off.
Mhm.
Now, none of that footage is useful,
You don't
right?
have to worry about that
Okay.
with a 360 cam.
You reframe the whole thing in post.
Right.
Okay. You say, I like that. Oh, here's a point of focus. Here's something I want to highlight. Put it all together. I could actually take a single shot and create a multitude of images from that single shot.
Yes. I've
Because
seen
I can
TV
I
pilots.
can say my target is here, take a clip of that, then take that same footage, throw it around to a different direction, take a piece of footage out of that. So, it's really nice. And on the selfie stick, it's just amazing, the invisible selfie stick, with that technology that
Disappears.
anything sitting right in that center is gone.
Right.
So one of the tricks I learned real quick was, a very long selfie stick, it has a lot of flex in it, right? And the problem is, as it flexes, you might see that selfie stick.
Okay.
Okay. But if you turn the camera, instead of this way, you turn the camera vertical, even with the flexing, the vertical still sits in
You
between
can't see it.
the two 360s and you can't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have this selfie stick that goes anywhere from, I think, 14 inches out to 10 feet.
Oh, damn.
So you
That's
talk
not a-
about places
That's
you
not a
might see some
selfie stick,
footage.
It's a lightning rod.
Well, you might see some footage where I get the drone police coming out and going, "You're not allowed to film there at St. Patrick's Cathedral." No, I
Okay.
was using a 10-foot selfie stick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you got to check out some of the 360 footage and you would swear it was drone footage.
I
Okay.
could believe it. I could believe it because
Yeah.
I saw a guy, Tom, I saw a guy on YouTube with the Insta 360. He had it on his helmet, okay, while he was riding the bike. And you could see him spin around while he was going forward. He was looking this way at the person riding with him. And then when they rode ahead, he was able to spin around. There is no one point of
Shot
access.
you can't catch. Yeah.
You can look.
Right. Yeah. And the quality of the
Good
video
videos.
is excellent, and especially for YouTubing. It's more than enough for YouTubing
You
purposes.
just
It's
need a
5K
decent
at the
computer.
360.
You need a decent computer to process it, though.
Well, a lot of it you can process right in the phone. You'd be so surprised at what you can do in the phone with this.
Oh yeah, a lot of these things now,
Yeah.
a lot of apps and stuff, a lot of things work on the phone. Even some of the like Twitter and a lot of those things, I play around with it mostly on my phone as opposed to the computer. So a lot of things are easier now on the phone.
It is easier because when TikTok came out on the phone, in fact, it's still to present day. They just came out with a PC version of TikTok. But when you upload it, when you upload the TikTok from your phone, you have the option of uploading it with no music or with music. And they will actually add music if you want. But from the PC version, you have to upload it with the music already.
Oh, okay.
They don't give you the option to go through their music library because you can only upload in clips of 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and 1 minute. Okay, so they have music on a great library of music in those different sections. But what I'm finding harder to find are 1 minute clips. So I've been slowly custom making my own. But it's that time, Herman.
Yeah, I know it's that time to get
Look at
out.
that. Wow. Having too much fun.
Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out tonight, and the guys in the chat and ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank you.
Don't forget to thumbs up.
Yes, please
hit that like button, please.
That like button, and I'd like to thank you guys for being here in the chat. Because without you, none of this is possible. And I'll see you next time on Phantom Flight 101 with those guys.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Good night,
Be safe, everyone. Be safe.
Later. We appreciate the support.